Welcome, one and all. Oh, we've got the opening sequence.
Yes, we do. Here it is. The opening sequence. Oh my goodness. It's new. We're learning it. It's exciting.
Very exciting stuff. It's a very exciting little video. Madison worked very hard on it. Random plus. I'm assuming almost no one saw it because it's too early, but we'll play it again before we end. It'll be fine.
Well, that's why I did the countdown. So, but yes, we'll play at the end too. We'll close out with our little sequence. I need to make it longer. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it needs to be longer, probably by 5 seconds. Maybe even 6 seconds. I'm not sure. Hello, Robin. Welcome to the live tea in our new fancy studio, now fully upgraded by Madame Askew. And congratulations on sending your little spud into the nightmare, the dream zone.
The dream zone, very important. Not the nightmare zone.
Not the dream zone. The dream zone.
The dream zone.
The nightmare zone is when you're awake. That's the lesson. Nightmare zone. The nightmare zone is when you're awake.
Yeah.
It's capable.
For so many of us. Grand Arbiter, hello. Welcome to tea. It's so good to see you, my darling.
Good to see you too. I'm going to check our stream status on Facebook because we're still troubleshooting.
Well, we're getting comments from Facebook, so that's a good sign.
It's a good sign. I just want to make sure it looks nice. That's all.
Sure. We love that.
I'm just checking things. Is it so hard to check things?
Yeah.
Because let's see. Oh yeah, we're live. It's not showing us as live on our little buttons, but that's okay. We're live. That's all that matters.
Yeah. No. Well, fingers crossed.
We're live. I can see us talking in the past.
Lovely. That's wonderful. So poor Hobbit is getting over being ill with the catarrh, one of my favorite names for illness from the 19th century. And Robin, Scone Mistress, I'm so happy she's on the mend and that you're able to be here with us. Hello, Alicia. Hello, Ricky. Oh my goodness. Hello, my darlings.
I think that's our first live YouTube comment. Excellent job, Alicia, being our first person to comment on it live from the YouTube account. Great job, Alicia.
Little heart action there.
We are a big fan of this. We love seeing you from other places. And hello, Ricky.
Hi, my darling.
Hello, Robin. Look, I can call you out specifically.
Hello.
It's Chaos Central, Tracy. And why is it Chaos Central, Tracy? What chaosness is happening?
Hello, Tracy. Bill. We love you. Welcome to tea. Welcome everyone to tea. It's so good to be back. Tracy and Bill will report back from Chaos Central and what's bringing the chaos. They also were wonderful about.
It's just their house.
Oh well, Yeah, we all relate to that. Alicia says the YouTube, the YT experience is a bit easier, and I love to hear it. And she also doesn't have to search for the chat, so that's nice. We love that. So my darlings, welcome. It is so good to have you here for tea. Thank you for tuning in to our weekly tea. We're back on our schedule. It's so good to be back on the schedule. We've had a chaotic summer, Grand Arbiter.
It's been, I would call it less than ideal. I call it a less than ideal summer in that regard.
Well, we've had an outbreak of gremlins in the Birds Sanctuary and Ghost Cat Hermitage. So not only did the airship Darjeeling decide that it was ready to quit this mortal coil, and it up and died on us. Darjeeling.
I mean, but we have many irons in the fire to solve problems.
The resolution will arrive, but it has been an encumbrance this summer. We also
you should know that there's a new we have a new computer, so we'll be having a fancy new setup in the next week or so that classes can continue in earnest.
So yeah, the gremlins struck my difference engine and also ate it. Oh my gosh! Oh, so TK also says it's much easier to watch on the tube of you.
I mean, I guess it just shows up. I don't know. Although TK's disguise is hilarious to me for some reason. Like, who's Linda?
We don't know her.
Linda's such a name that, like, it's like a mysterious name. You can tell it's a quirky ant name.
Yeah, no. It is. It has that vibe. So, TK, we're happy to see you, and welcome to being here. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Yeah, no, Lydia versus Linda, but Linda definitely has that sort of like Aunt Linda and her cocktail hour kind of vibe.
I definitely read that as Linda.
So, Ricky.
I'm just going to go live in a tomb now. Let me just return to my tomb. I shall never emerge once more.
Yeah, no, it's all right. So, Ricky, I do not have a Macintosh. I am going the PC route. And so I can get you that information. Don't have it on the top of my head. But it is a blazingly fast and beautiful piece of technology, a new difference engine, a wonderful gift from friends, and I'm very excited for it. I'll share the nitty-gritty details in a longer post on Patreon. So yeah. And I learned from friends that 4 to 5 years is actually a long time for a laptop. So we made it to 5. Yes, we've been talking a bit about WestCon in the Discord, and so my darlings, the Grand Arbiter knows, and many of you who've done a lot with us for years know that we often bring our sort of secret themes for the day, or some secret temple entourage shenanigans.
They are bonus adventures. They are side quests. There are costuming side quests.
I love bonus adventures, costuming side quests. I love that. The convention also has their bonus adventures and side quests as well every day of WestCon, but we like to do silly, cheeky things. Pardon me.
Jesus Christ.
No, the lightning was so close that I could see the flash through my window, through the blinds. Did you hear that?
Is being stormed on a little bit right now.
Pardon me. I scared the cat too.
We're all fine. We're all fine. It's just very stormy, and Madison is easily startled.
It's true. Yeah, and no, Linda does have caftan vibes, and also Linda and her caring cocktail vibe versus queer Aunt Lydia and her wine glass come to you everything you're not supposed to have for Christmas. Yeah, no, we love Aunt Lydia. We stand, and we're a little bit concerned about Aunt Linda. So, dear Freddie, I shall endeavor to send some of this your way. I'm wafting it your way. And I thought the bird sanctuary was exploding too. So I apologize for scaring everyone. I'm all right. I was startled. So, but yeah, to get back to our little side quests and things, this applies to our special theme for the conversation tonight. We actually have like a light segue to cucumber sandwiches today, and then our main topic, which is dream panels, because it's Cucumber Sandwich Day, Grand Arbiter.
I am delighted to know this information.
Right? No. And every year for Cucumber Sandwich Day, Grand Arbiter, I forget. And I don't get cucumbers, and I cannot make myself cucumber sandwiches on Cucumber Sandwich Day. So
I don't make myself food. So unfortunately, I will be I will also not have cucumber sandwiches because they do not manifest fully formed just in my space when I whim. Actually, cucumber sandwiches are one of those things where it's like very hard to come by, honestly.
Right. Yeah. No, ever since I sent Mick McTavisham off to retirement during the beginning of the lockdown and everything to go live his best life with his nameless paramour in their sweet little seaside cottage, I have been making do as my own personal chef and having to do my own cooking. And Grand Arbiter, it is overrated. It is terrible. I miss having a butler. Ooh. All right. So cucumber and cream cheese mayo marshmallow cream.
Nightmare scenario. You're describing dreams in which I wish I was dead.
Now, I like cucumber with cream cheese, and I even like it with mayonnaise, but I've never tried it with marshmallow cream. And I don't think Tracy is suggesting all three at once. I don't think.
Marshmallow cream sounds awful. That sounds horrific.
I am chef, but with cucumber sandwiches. I love that.
I don't need any of this. I don't need any of these things.
Yes. And yes, Grand Arbiter, what do you think? I think that counts.
It's cream cheese, bagel, cucumber. That's sort of the recipe. Bagel is a kind of bread. So
yes.
I think that like there is something specific to that kind of bread. God, we are describing some nightmare food that I do not wish to partake in, to be honest.
So here's the thing. The traditional cucumber sandwich is a little smear of butter on day-old white bread, and then very thinly cut cucumbers, lightly seasoned. And the sogginess, I don't know, Your Highness, if the sogginess is your quibble, your problem with cucumber sandwiches, but I think the sogginess is the great sin of cucumber sandwiches.
If it's soggy, it's done wrong, in my opinion.
No. Ooh. Aunt Lydia, TK, that absolutely counts. I could tease you a little bit, but I can't really tease you very much. Although I love that Aunt Lydia is now absolutely a mythical figure in our pantheon of mythical figures. So
there are many mythical figures out there.
Thank you for bringing her into being. And also Pumpernickel or Death for TK. I
think Pumpernickel's a good choice, but I do think there is something magical about the plain white bread. It's not for everybody, but I think it's good.
I think so. There are some keys to making a less soggy cucumber sandwich, and Alicia is sharing one of them. You have to salt the cucumber after it's sliced and let it sort of drain a little bit. So you salt it and you let it have a moment. And the bread needs to be buttered on both sides of the bread so that you have a barrier of butter between the moisture of the cucumber. And absolutely, the bread needs to be thinly sliced white bread, preferably like a day old, not stale, but just a little bit drier in texture, or fairly like a nice white bread. You don't want to use a spongy white bread. Ew. Oh, this is very Belgian, Ricky. I don't know if you knew that, but it's a very Belgian tea time sarnie to do radish with pumpernickel or a nice brown bread, and usually they use like a creme fraiche in Belgium. Is delightful.
Freddie, I feel like this is very true. This is very white conversation. I think that that's fair. We are white people who objectively like fancy British tea time shit. I don't think we can. I think we are not beating the "are we white" allegations. I think that we are definitely white.
Well,
no one has ever mistaken me for anything other than that. On the phone, on the internet, without my face present, everybody knows. Everybody knows. You can sense the desire for very plain food. Except I'm not that into plain food, but my body desires plain food.
But we do love some of the traditional staples of an afternoon tea, and I don't want the cucumber sandwich to be the only thing at tea time. To me, it's a bit of a palate cleanser. It's very refreshing. It's a wonderful summer sarnie experience because it's so, when done well, it's crisp and refreshing. I am also a heretic like Alicia. I like it with dill, and purists are like no flavor, only slightly soggy and slightly crunchy and slightly in the uncanny valley, and that's what they want. But I like it to have crunch, to have a little dill, to have a little flavor. And in full disclosure, when I make my own, I do a little smear of butter on both sides of the bread, and then I do dill and cream cheese, and I put a little smear of that, and then I put my cucumbers on. So I am like absolutely such a heretic when it comes to my signature cucumber sandwich. Oh, thank you, Robin. I thought I didn't read the full comment, but that's good. We're about this. We love cats, and we're here for taking down people who are coming for our rights. So I thought serves me for not reading fully the whole comment. I was like, Robin's talking about putting up a recipe for cucumber sandwiches. No, that was not the comment. Oh my goodness. Alicia is like mixing that cream cheese with chilies and cucumbers and cream cheese for a like heightened curry cucumber sandwich. Sounds nice, honestly. Lovely.
I mean, it sounds good to me. I think it sounds nice.
So, but I hope if you like cucumber sandwiches that you get one in the not too distant future with a nice cup of tea. I'll probably get around to making some this weekend, Grand Arbiter. Probably.
I mean, you can make some or you don't. It's okay.
Yeah. No, that's true. There's no moral necessity. Yeah. And we might bring His Highness to the dark side of cucumber sandwiches with a little chilies, a little curry.
I just think it's very funny that that you're very upset at this idea of a very plain sandwich, but these are designed for plain days. It's designed for just a purity of ingredients, low spice level for our less sensitive for our sensitive girlies. And as a sensitive girly, I have chosen a life in which I live with Lord Asplund. Okay, look, Lord Asplund gets hot sauce on a subscription-based service. That is my gut biome's regular exposure. Sometimes you just need very basic, low spice food.
That's right. That's correct, Grand Arbiter. And I have to live that life all the time because I made poor choices. And so I cannot ingest the capsicum, really. And so, and lo, I must embrace the fish belly nature of my being. Yes, yes, dear Freddie, you will need to come down. I will be your guinea pig. I will try this thing happily. So, my darlings, so go out, get your tea sandwich du jour, the one you love. Freddie, you might try the coronation chicken salad.
I mean, the coronation chicken is a magical, culturally important experience.
So good. It is curried chicken ideally with mango involved, but you can't always get the mango. So, or apricot originally, but a little bit of this kind of stone fruit experience with the curry. Yeah. Hello. A stream between a Regency queen and a trucker. No.
I mean, I'm wearing a trucker hat. That's what's happening. Okay. But we're wearing casual clothes because we're casual people in some instances.
Tonight is a casualty. It's summer. I
mean, we'll mostly have casualties. There's usually not casualties on our streams, but we've chosen to go a little bit of a we can wear what we have available at the time for these because we make a bunch of content. We can't always be in fancy clothes all the time. And I work a 9 to 5, just like Dolly Parton.
The horror, Grand Arbiter.
I just accept my destiny.
As one must. So, but yes, here we are. And also welcome. Thank you for joining us on Twitch. We're delighted you're here with all of our stuff and nonsense. Yeah. And I think of myself more as a duchess, maybe a marquess. Not necessarily a queen. That's just so much.
We don't have nobility. Unfortunately, we are close. We're neighbors to nobility, but we don't actually we know them. We're acquainted.
We are acquainted.
We're the steampunk equivalent of influencers.
Are we influencing people to eat cucumber sandwiches?
That's what we're doing right now. We're on. I don't know if you did you get your paycheck from today's stream is sponsored by cucumber sandwiches.
Yes. I got some cucumber water out of the deal.
Yes, we're master manipulators convincing you to consume the power of delicious cucumber.
And caftans. We are absolutely trying to spread the good word of caftans. Tracy, I think, has joined us in a love of caftans, as have many of you. And thank you, Scone Mistress. We do try and send people out into the world to spread tea dueling and compliment dueling and kindness and all of the nonsense. So yes, but Grand Arbiter, since we're talking about influencing,
yes,
we're very ineffective at doing that, honestly. But we have a wonderful community, all of you, and we also do go to all of these conventions throughout the year, and we thought it would be fun to talk about our dream panels, or to talk about some potentials for dream panels that we could do maybe in a special universe with endless budget or what have you. And so last week during our Patrons Corner poll, our two top contenders actually tied. So we're just doing the second topic today, which is
yeah. And yes, I do identify as male, but but that's also neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But yes, we are. We do want dream audiences. A dream audience to me is just a full room of enthusiastic people. Yeah, a very full room. Ideally, very full.
We want all of you there to be with us. If we can also magically have, I don't know, if we could have Paul Rudd in the audience, and maybe.
Do you really need Paul Rudd in the audience? Is that your go-to? Your go-to is Paul Rudd.
I was thinking about sort of sweet, affable figures. I'd also like LeVar Burton to be there.
I can get behind LeVar Burton. I can get behind LeVar Burton. I can get behind anybody. You know how I feel about celebrity.
I do. But you know what I really, really want, right, is a strange production crew that's just like floating around the universe looking for somebody to turn into a game show in Japan. And they're in our
You have to move to Japan.
No, maybe. I'll learn Japanese.
Okay.
I would also be delighted to do a game show in Italy. That would be nice. Montreal, I'd go there. What I really want is a place where it doesn't get to be 150 degrees Fahrenheit during the day.
You just want to go somewhere cold, is what we're learning.
Cold and with delightful food.
I think that's very fair. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. Ooh, here's one. A variant of Name That Tune. Oops. We read a quote from a novel and people have to guess steampunk or gothic fiction.
I think that's very good.
Fun. It's not cold in Italy. That's true, TK. I actually lived in Rome a long time ago, and it's not cold there, but it is Italy, and I loved it, even though I recall sweltering a bit in the summer. But if I could magically be whisked away to Firenze, I'd be really happy with life. That'd be nice. No complaints there. Dear Scone Mistress has suggested our mythical game show with this production crew that's just floating around looking for a show to produce. None of this is real. Could be in Victoria. We do like Victoria. That'd be close to home for you, Grand Arbiter.
I mean, there could be all sorts of adventures that we could do if we live in a magical world with a magical production crew that just shows up randomly.
Right, and they're like, ooh, we don't have any other people who have or budgets. We just want to produce a weird steampunk game show, and we chose you. That'd be nice. Yeah, but let's say we have this mythical budget. We can go to any show we want. We can all travel there. We can all make it to every panel. What is a panel you've always wanted to do, Grand Arbiter, and we've never had the wherewithal or the time?
So I think one of the things that we've talked about a lot is we've really wanted to do more high production value stuff. So I think we definitely would love to do like a show like a game show that used a big giant screen like at Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, right. That'd be lovely.
We have several panels that we have so I think that it's really important that we identify what the different kinds of things we do. So we do interactive stuff.
Yes.
We do interactive panels. We do educational panels, which are always slightly interactive, but mostly because we don't want you just sitting there.
No, how dull.
How dull. And then we event host. And those are the three big things that we do, right? I do fantasize a lot. So they do this panel they do an event at Magic Events called Game Nights Live, which is my dream event to be on, where they have content creators of Magic the Gathering compete on a stage playing Magic in front of a live audience. And I feel like I do great there, but I also do great anywhere. So I think that's my dream would be to be able to do performative Magic the Gathering is my dream, not your dream, my dream.
So my darlings, we have the Grand Arbiter has been snatched by the siren of magic.
Immersed. I am in the BAFTA tank of magic. I am in the tank.
I
am
breathing tank of magic.
I am breathing it in. I am seeking to do great works. Breathing it in feels good. I like it.
Well, I mean, that would be potentially not magic necessarily as a specific singular thing, but a panel about the 19th century origins or older origins of some of the games and types of games that we love and how they developed would be fun.
That would be excellent. That would be one that we could definitely do. I think that I think it'd be very interesting for us to also do a sort of philosophical panel that's also about game theory, as game theory is very tied into a lot of the works that we do because we run and manage games. And we think a lot about production and how to make things fair and interesting.
Look at this. We now have a title, Games Through the Ages, Ancient Times to Magic and Everything in Between. Well, if that ends up being submitted to Worldcon 2025, TK, thank you. This is a great title.
It's very good. I think some of the other stuff that I'd like to see us do is I love doing fashion analysis panels. It's one of my favorite things for us to do is fashion analysis panels. I think it'd be kind of fun to do a sort of hot or not panel on what different Victorian garments that were considered sexy or attractive were.
I think it'd be really fun to throw up fashion plates from the 19th century and just read them jokingly, I mean, they're still fashion plates and everyone's going to have their own sort of aesthetic. But some of the looks are, ooh, ooh, ooh. No, Tracy is our like, with live models and clothing, Tracy. This is where we have that magical production crew with their budget and we can have everyone in costume and come out and do a runway. And then we're like, we do a read. Now, I'd say that's a little, we don't normally like critique people in their costumes, but
I think it would be more interesting if we had, because I don't really like reading like hot to not necessarily, but what I would like is like we could build quadrants of different things and then we put them where they are on different scales. So like we are a big fan of, I mean, we are the fashion scientists that developed the Barbarella to Ripley's spectrum of costume utility. And so I'm a big fan of this idea of doing other forms of that. I think like a jerk to himbo scale might be an interesting one.
No, rake to himbo.
Yeah.
For 19th century men's fashion, rake to himbo as a scale. I really want to do this.
We're gonna call it, I think it's rake to himbo doesn't capture what we want to capture though. I think it'd be like rake to I want like a fun, like it needs to be something like a hero type word. Synonyms for Thesaurus. I call upon the power of the dinosaur of words.
Lo, where beeth the thesaurus? Come forth with synonyms. Hello, Sterling. We're axes. Although axe rankings, I mean, we could attempt axe rankings, although we're not very knowledgeable on axes personally. But I do like a person who's very capable with an axe, and she wears a lot of flannel, and I love that sort of sword bay with an axe vibe. Also, yes, hello, Lady Wheelsworth from Wheelsworth and Asgard here with us tonight. It's so good to have you. Thank you for joining us. Tracy's about this panels in which things are ranked on axes, and I mean, I feel this is
rake to saint.
Rake to saint. The rake to saints. Ooh, that's fun. I like that.
It's the rank to saint spectrum, and so it's. I think that it's actually a 4-quadrant spectrum. So
we need rake to saint, himbo to something.
No, it's going to be rake to saint, and then hot to slob, right? Because there's saints who are not attractive, but there are also rakes that are too attractive.
That's true. That's true. Willoughby.
So I think it's something like it's a danger of hot clothes like it's the danger factor, maybe.
Danger.
The danger factor. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, sharp dress to dull. I love that too.
That's a good one. Sharp to dull is a good metric for that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Also, we've got Flash Hart or Flash Gordon. Ooh.
Like the Scarlet Pimpernel is definitely like the middle of the axes, right? He's like dressed like to impress, but who he's impressing is unclear. And he's not exactly bad, but he's not exactly good either.
You know, the thing about the Scarlet Pimpernel is, I love him. And I love the Leslie Howard film of that. And from a modern perspective, he reads very queer. And sometimes I'm disappointed that he's not. Yeah, no, and I love this. We could come up with the ultimate, the peak, exemplar in each quadrant. This is really fun. I love this so much. I'm like very keen. What a fun idea. This is a great concept. Let's rank some hot men in fashion. Sounds fun, Grand Arbiter.
Yeah, and we can talk about whether or not they're rakes or not, because I do think that conversation is important. Is X person a rake? Are they, or are they? Where are they on the rake to saint sex spectrum?
Right? Yeah. No.
Particularly people who wouldn't normally, you wouldn't frame that way,
where does
Danny
Mr. Rogers
from Greece is like actually more rake than saint by like a pretty significant margin.
Who is that?
Danny Zuko from Greece.
Oh, Danny Zuko from Greece. Yeah. He has an arc. It's not that big of an arc. It's more of a he has an arc.
He certainly doesn't become a saint, though. He doesn't cross into saint territory. No. He stays squarely in, like, he's not a monster, but he's definitely a rake. I mean, he's ultimately he steals the
pretty far.
He starts pretty far and he moves very far, but he's still in the rake quadrant because you know what he steals more that's more valuable than money? A woman's self-respect.
Yeah.
He steals that and she's just dressing up in leather pants for no reason.
Well, I mean, unless she likes the leather pants, and then that's enough reason. But he does basically insist she needs to change her whole being to be with him, and she does it. I mean, he also does some changing, but
I mean, arguably, he changes in that he's not a monster. Like, he's not a disrespectful monster, but he's still like, there's nothing about his character arc. He like changes in that he isn't mean to her anymore. Which I'm like, wow, great job, buddy.
Right? Yeah, and no, like, listen, Tracy, I think the Grand Arbiter is taking notes, but I'm not going to swear to it.
You're taking notes. It's fine.
Oh, good. Great. I don't know. I'm not taking those notes. I'll just have to re-watch the video later to get. I mean,
it's also shared there, so it's not like we're not losing anything.
Oh, Tracy's here to defend Danny. She volunteered. He didn't insist, really. All right, that is
insist, but like arguably, it's not about insisting. Okay. We're going to go into this. I'm going to be here for 2 minutes. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Even if a person doesn't ask you to change, if it's implied that you need to change, because if you feel so pressed to be different than who you are as a person, then how much do they really like you, and more do they like the concept that they've made for you?
Yes.
And I don't like. Ultimately, she can do whatever she wants, but it's one of those things where it's like, are you just being a cool girl? And like, I just think that life is more complicated than that.
Yeah. Life is more complicated. But you know what, Grand Arbiter, this discussion, the depth of our discussion on this leads me to feel that this would be an excellent panel. So we may have to really work this one up for something in 2025, or it's going to have to be like a full-on Patreon's Corner topic for one of our Friday teas.
I mean, I think it will be probably a better panel than here, because I want to hear other people's voices, and it's easier to hear them when they're in the room.
I 100% agree with you, Grand Arbiter, but if we don't get it accepted by a convention, then we may have to do it here.
We'll do whatever we want. We'll do whatever we want, and we'll get whatever we want. I just assume that I'm going to get what I want, and I just think we can live that life. That I get what I want, and you get what you want, and we'll all work out. So
that's fair.
Those are some cool ideas. So here are some other ideas that we've sort of danced around in the past. We have a sort of educational theme panel that was made for a different event, but it never got crystallized due to different changes. It's called Myth of the Outsider, which was one of the panels that we had an idea on. And I do love talking about genre. Genre and themes and tropes are some of my favorite topics to talk about. And I do think I think that we could do some really great stuff about tropes about witches and tropes about magic users in general.
Yes, yes.
I think also I would love to do one just about magic systems as concept, because I'm a big fan of systems.
I love that. I also think it would be fun at some point to do one sort of riffing on that as like the birth of magic as a pastime and you know, birth the sort of explosion of mysticism and magic and you know, in sort of investigation of magic in the 19th century, like the Golden Dawn
of occult studies.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. It's so fun. It's so fun. Oh, so good. Also, Scone Mistress. So, by the by, the Airship and Ambassador and I are kicking this idea around for 2025. So the Steampunk Community Weekend as a virtual convention may be back in 2025. We don't have dates yet. We have to look at the whole year ahead to pick a time, but watch out. Maybe back.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking about, is talking about how these different magic systems come into being. There's a lot of interesting things about how Royden envisions godhood in the Percy Jackson series. It's very interesting.
Yes.
The magic systems of Narnia is very interesting. The way they approach magic is very interesting. And
Beth
of course,
Cato's recent books, 1,000 Recipes for Revenge, and what an interesting magic system.
And Gail's system of how souls work.
Yes.
There's just a lot of interesting, like, let's call it metaphysical narratives.
Yes. Ooh.
Oh, it's not just magic, it's metaphysical.
Yes. You know, I really want to do the magics and metaphysics. That would be so fun. Grand Arbiter. But I also, of course, Alicia has mentioned hats. How of course I want to do a panel about hats. Yes. And shout out Tracy, T. Kingfisher's Magic Baker. That is one that would have to go into any panel about magic systems. It's such a charming book, and I'm desperate for her to write more. I don't know if she will about that character and that world, but I want it.
I also think I would love to do a series on just discussing and like introducing folks into webcomics. Would be a really fun, like, I'm a big webcomic consumer. I consume an absurd amount of webcomics. And so I definitely would love to do a panel talking about like what makes a great one, in my opinion, and what we enjoy about those kinds of experiences. I also think, well, we're having like multiple conversations here. We're having multiple conversations with this TK. We're talking about a conversation about historical occult studies
as a separate
thing, and then as a separate thing, metaphysical studies or metaphysical concepts as integrated as, and what makes them successful or not. So like, I would argue that one of the reasons that the Gail Carriger's Soulless series metaphysics are successful is because of their incredibly limited scope. right? Because their scope is very limited in terms of like what is possible and why it works the way it works. Like there's not a lot going on beyond the soul is the one thing that connects all of these things, but there's no like magic outside of it for the most part, right? There's no like witch secondary system. There's just souls for the most part.
As far as we've seen, that seems to be a correct assessment, or at least a fairly accurate assessment. How about I use that?
Well, another example I might take is like magic in Narnia is pretty vague in what it does, but it's used very infrequently by incredibly powerful characters. So it's the idea that they're so powerful that it's the feats of magic are really large. But then you have things like what's it called? The Magicians TV series / book series, which uses like highly complicated scientific principles with this idea that like you could do anything, but you have to be able to scientifically manipulate reality, which I think is interesting.
But I do think that TK has hit on something, that this topic is more in the nature of world building, but it's very, a specific angle on that topic.
Yeah, it's on the metaphysical nature of the world you're building, and I think that would be the conversation topic.
We love that.
But we're on the book.
But also, webcomics. There's a lot of interest in your webcomics panel, Grand Arbiter.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of cool webcomics that I think would be really fun to discuss, and there's a chance that I'll do another like webcomic review at some point in the future where we'll have a more serious talk about it. The problem is that I can't get Madame Askew to read a comic book because she'll die.
Well, I won't die, but I'm not good at reading them. And also, I'm better at reading webcomics than I am at reading comic books, because I do find it easier to process the information in a strip at a time rather than a full page.
Well, I have some bad news. Webcomics have changed again.
No.
So the new version of webcomics is the scroller.
Oh,
so instead of going like this, it goes up and down, so you can scroll through the comic. But it doesn't go left to right; it goes just down. Oh. So it might work out okay. Instead of going this direction, it just goes down.
But it's still like a single panel, and it's not.
Sometimes they do split. Like in some instances, it's like split panels. It depends on the artist.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, readability is interesting because it is an interesting art form because of its changing readability. Because it's an art form that really is warped by the device that that you read it on. And yes, enjoy your cucumber sandwich because we cannot.
This is making me so happy. This makes me so happy.
This is the new thing. We're gonna read webcomics to Madame Askew like she's a toddler.
Oh no, this is a whole panel. You will read to me different webcomics and I will respond to them. I'll give hot takes to webcomics.
I mean, there's some good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing. For those of you who don't know, I really respect and admire graphic novels as an art form. I respect the art of comics. But I have a hard time reading them. So I just have a hard, like physically, mentally processing the language moving around on the page. I get a little lost. I start bouncing all over the page. And then I am like, where does it start? What is a sentence? Where do sentences begin? What is sentence structure? What is a paragraph?
So
how do words work? And I get really...
I'm going to give one webcomic out that's like the go-to. I think it's fully complete. It's done. It's incredibly easy to read. It's a beautiful read, and it's self-contained, and it's sapphic AF.
Ooh.
So it's called Muted, and it's on Webtoons, which is my go-to source for webcomics right now. It's just very easy because it's an app on your phone, and I really love an app on my phone.
Yes.
And it is by far my favorite one ever created. I've read it 3 times. It's great. And here's the link.
Ooh, here's the link.
I needed to post it in all the places.
It went to all the comments. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, so I definitely think that webcomics is a thing that we could discuss. I think that part of it is also like, what did we want out of? I think it's identifying tropes and like themes that we want to discuss in a more bulky way. So like, I think like something like, what you get out of romance novels is an interesting idea as well. Like, what does romance novels bring to the table? Where do they struggle, and where can like what can romance novels do? Like, what genre can do for you is an important question. I think it would be a really fun conversation of like, because there's certain things where like that genre cannot do that thing. It can't do that thing.
Or that thing is quintessential to the genre. So if you're going to break that convention, you need to let your readers know. Also, I love this idea, Alicia. Tea time tales with the Grand Arbiter and Madame Askew. That would be fun. Like, that would just be a very, you come, we put a hat out with, you drop some little
I mean, I would just pick. I would just pick one.
And then we riff on a story. We used to do that all the time on Friday Teas, where in the early days.
Oh no, they're talking about me reading comic books to you.
Oh, I was thinking of our old method of being like, of making up tall tales in real time.
We did have a lot of big fish stories, didn't we?
That was really fun. I miss those days sometimes. And TK, yes. To go back to this, we are going to have such amazing conversations at Worldcon in 2025 in Seattle, everyone. The Grand Arbiter and I are intending to go. So
we're intending to go. We can make no promises just yet, but you know, we're doing what we need to do.
I'd say that's 95% certain that we'll be there. So we're going to be doing the work to make it happen. And to come back to the webcomics. Robert, start listing those favorites on the Discord. Absolutely. Speaking of,
I'm posting the link. I'm posting the invite link. So if people are not in the Discord yet, they can be.
Yeah.
So so those are some really cool ideas that we have on we have some pretty solid panel ideas to work through. We've done some of these like hat ranking ideas. We've done that before on the channel. We've done hat ranking. We've done hat ranking before. I think other garmentry stuff. We had another conversation we were talking about. Oh, Mad Askew and I had a very silly idea for one in the future that may be just a Patreon's corner, but it might turn into a full panel, which is costume pieces. Which ones are Booba and which one is Kiki?
Oh, yeah. And if you don't know the Booba and Kiki experiment, that will be also a fun part of sharing.
Yeah. So, and we of course have some plans that we are not telling everyone about just yet. We'll be sharing as we move forward. But we have lots of really exciting stuff for you guys in the future. Mad Askew, you have book club was last week, so book club is started reading. What's the book for this month?
So upcoming, we're reading Karen J. Carlisle's wonderful collection of tales about Sherlock Holmes and all of that. You can find the information in the Temporal Textual Talks book club group. And I will absolutely be getting that event page up with all the information. It's not up yet, but it's coming. And we also have special guests joining us next week for tea on Friday. So come join us as we celebrate the Airship Ashanti's 10th anniversary together next week. That'll be so fun. And we also have a sip of the tea coming this month with Piper J. Drake as our guest. That's the Saturday before book club. So I believe that's the 17th of August. And then book club is the 18th of August. And all of the details and more will get posted to our socials. If you're asking where the newsletter is, well, this has been the summer of all sorts of nonsense. Karen, perfect timing, actually. We're closing, but please share the information about your book that we are going to be reading this month for our book club. Karen put together an e-book box for the book and has all the details. They've been shared in the Temporal Textual Talks Facebook group already. And that information will go out in the newsletter when it goes out. Thank you. The book is Dr. Jack and Others. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you for getting the title out for us. So our ability to put out the newsletter has been slightly curtailed for the moment, but now that I have a new difference engine, I'll be able to migrate everything into the new platform. How exciting. The book club, the newsletter will come out with calendar and all the upcoming events for the month. So that'd be wonderful.
And as a reminder, if you aren't on the Patreon, you should be. And Madam Askew's classes are still ongoing. You still have class this Sunday, correct?
Yes, I do. Sunday morning at 11 a.m., we continue with our bustle skirt making adventures on Patreon. And those classes meet on Sunday mornings and Wednesday evenings, and we do that most weeks. And then we also are going to be starting a wonderful corset class at the end of September, and those details are forthcoming. So,
well, and with that, we have covered all the things that we're going to be covering for this month. Will be coming up soon. So we'll see y'all soon. We'll see you in literally, Madam Askew will see you in 2 days if you're going to join us for
class.
For class. But we'll see you on Friday with our special guests. And thank you so much for being here, everybody. I hope you're liking our new studio. We'll still be going through some changes in the near future, but know that we are like in the market to improve the experience for everybody. So thanks everybody for being part of this.
Yes, and for those of you who are not here at the very, very beginning, we're going to close out, of course, with the most important message of all, and with our wonderful new little opening sequence that is too short but is going to grow. So please remember. Go ahead, Grandad. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.